Hiya. These are the paints that I'm planning on using. I might not use them all, I might swap some out, I don't know. That's a metallic goldy, metallic brass. Those two are iridescent, so similar to metallics. You need water, definitely in a spray bottle is a good idea, because your first layer, it on the raw paper it gobbles it up and it doesn't give you time, and it could sort of put you off doing it because it just gobbles all your paint up, and when you go to, it doesn't work right well. That bit is where your paint will stay on your paper. This bit scratches the paint away. So you need different spacings, different widths. I tried cutting it with those fancy edge scissors, these things. Not worked right well. This is one that I chopped out with a pair of scissors, but it's mangled it somewhat, and it's got sharp edges which does actually cut into your paper a bit. So nail file just until it feels like it won't, you know, chop into your paper. And it's usually mostly in one direction. You obviously need them to be flat across the top, but no sharp pegs hanging off the, you know. That feels better. Yeah. So this one I did with scissors, this one I did with a hole punch, and maybe punched it up once and then punched it again. Punched it once and then again, so there were extra depth. I can't remember if I needed to file after doing the hole punch, but definitely after using the scissors. Tissues, wide brushes, little pots. These are shot glasses, I think they're called, from our local pound type of shops. Mick picked them up for me, and at the time I thought, they're not going to be very useful. But and my friend Mark, he uses a lot of zip clips, zip ties, and I asked him to save me them, because, you know, the ends that he cuts off, because they are really handy for measuring things out, stirring, etc. Because if you stir something with something that's round, it doesn't stir very well. It's an uneconomical way of trying to stir something. If you stir something with edges, things stir a lot better and a lot quicker. But I just usually throw these in the pot that I put my brushes in. Not all the paint comes off them, but they're really handy and obviously cheap. And the other thing you're going to need is a piece of paper for cleaning, because you'll get build up on here. A piece of paper for cleaning off and wallpaper paste. I shall mix that up now. If you're doing lots of pieces of paper, then mix a big batch up and, you know, make all your paints up and then use them as you will, but I'm only going to be making 2 paints up at a time. Oh yeah, and thank you Mark for this wallpaper paste. It's, again, my friend who gave me these. Add water first and then your wallpaper paste. Barb uses something called oh crikey, I forgot the name of it. Art paste, I think it is. And what I've been doing is mixing up a thickish batch and then taking out, you know, a dollop, putting it in, put on my painting, then watering it down to the right thickness. I'll try and show you that best I can. So as you can see, you don't need a lot. Let me just fasten this back up. Make sure you fasten it back up, because if there's any damp, it will turn it off. You see that whitish sort of sheen that it's got to it? Well, I sort of make it so it still has that whitish sort of sheen, but not as much. But then I thin it down again when, you know, I'm mixing it with the paint. It just saves you having loads of paint left over that you don't know what to do with, because you're only mixing up what you need. There it looks more shiny than white, if you will. It's got like I don't know if you can see difference on camera, but frog spawn, shall we say. I think I could just do one drop more in, because it takes time for it to do whatever it does, absorb. Delightful, isn't it? Right. Yeah, wipe off paper, water, paint your paper. I'm using lining paper again, because it's there we go. It's sturdy stuff. Oh, camera, don't do that. It's sturdy stuff, so it will take a bit of abuse. But that said, it's designed for wallpaper paste to be under and on it. But it's also designed to absorb the wallpaper paste and water out of it. So I give it a squirt of water first, and that makes it behave itself, stops it from curling up because it comes on a roll. Right, I'll press pause, get everything sorted, file the rest of that card down, and sort my head out on which colours I'm using and clear up a bit, then I've got space. Right, I'm going to start off with these two because I know I've got a yellow that doesn't mix very nicely with other colours, and this might be it or it might be the other one, I'm not right sure. So if this fails, I'll do it on the other piece. So I thought I'd better off getting them two colours out of the way first. And so I know I'm bendy, but doing sweepy movements, I mean, I haven't done this too many times, I've only done it a couple of times, and you need fluid movements, so I'm going to have to twist the paper. And there was one comment that was saying about the paper twisting, so what I've thought might help is if I put one stamp in one place, just one, and then do whichever way I turn the paper, you'll be able to follow it and know which was the top and the bottom, say, through seeing where this stamp is. If it disappears, then I'll try and stamp back over it. If it gets lost in the layers, I'll try and make sure that you can see this stamp, so you know, if you want to do a follow along, you know which end's which. It's the only thing I can think of doing without me trying to stand on my head, basically. And so I know I'm quite flexible, but right, this is probably going to be. Oh, hang on, I'll put it that way up, because if that's going to be the top flap of, I was thinking about making another filey folder or something out of this, so, because I don't like wasting stuff. So I want to make sure that I can use it for something afterwards. If it turns out alright, it might turn out rubbish. Oh well, it's more or less. As I say, if it disappears, I'll where's my tissue again? I'll restamp. So pop that back in there. Go in there. Alrighty. I've done down. So I'll zoom in a bit for this, then you can. So a blob. Not all of that blob will end up going in there, because as I say, it's, at this point it is very thick. Right, so there's ish blob in each, and I'll put that to one side because I'll use that over and over again. I hope I've got the right two colours. Okay. You don't, as far as I can tell, you don't want each layer so strong a colour that it completely covers up everything else. I mean, try it that way. You know, I've only played with it, as I say, a couple of times, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Playing and having fun, that's what I'm doing. Right. And when you mix it up, I'd always let it sort of stand for a second, because it could get quite a lot thicker on you if you haven't put enough, you know, water in that first mix. So, I don't know if you can see, there's a blob on end. There, it just dropped. So, it's thick. Oh, drop off. There, it just dropped. I think that's about as thick as I were making it. One thing that does bug me about these pots is them little lines inside. They're good for rubbing your brush against, for getting stuff out your brush, but they get very annoying when you're trying to mix something. And at this point, if this one was a little bit too thin, I could take another blob out of me and pour it in, just to thicken it up a bit. So it hangs around a bit for on end at thing for a little bit. It's, when you put it on the paper, it's got to hold its own. It's got to sort of stand proud when you scratch it with the card. Right, that's it. I just basically use two brushes. Well, I'm talking like I've done it a million times, but I use two brushes and two pots. Sorry. Is that stuff, and where's it coming from? That's a cat hair, no, that's a cat hair. Right. Has that one thickened up a little? Oh, maybe a little. Put a couple of drips of water in. And if it's too thick when you get it on page, just squirt it. Right, so let's give your paper a bit of a drink. Stop it from gobbling up that first layer. And I do like it when you use two colours together. It looks like you've maybe done more layers than you actually have. It looks like, you know, you've done a pink layer and a yellow layer. And you don't have to do all the paper in one do. You can just let me get the other. So you can do segments of it. Yellow going around there, and then more pink here, I think. And if you haven't mixed enough paint up, then you know, mix a bit more up, or just carry on with a different colour, I guess. Chuck a bit more yellow there, I think. And have that pink going around there. So if you paint just a bit wider than whatever pattern you're going to drag into it, I think I'm going to use the. I'm going to use a small one or the big one. I'll use a small one. I'm going to sneeze. I really am going to sneeze. You see how it dragged that yellow into the pink there, and then wipe that off, because you end up with lots of yuckiness on it. Now there isn't enough room to do another one, so back to the brushes. Pink going up there. The yellow going round there. You don't have to be too, you know, because there's going to be more layers going on. You don't have to be too. I forgot every centimetre. Now I can use the same one, or I could even go on to that one. I mean, you don't have to use the same pattern. You do have to hold it down though, which is a bit challenging. So I'm taking the top arches on that pattern and sort of following them. That's drying out a little bit, so let's give it a bit of a squirt. I really do think squirting it with water does help a lot. Right, here's my red brush into it. Oh yeah, and Bob was saying if you don't like what you've done, just go over it. you know, if I didn't like this pattern while it's still wet, just go over it with the brush again and get rid of it. And then try scratching a new pattern into it. I think yellow there as well, so I'll put pink up here. I wouldn't risk it with colours that you definitely know make mud. And as you can see, it don't really matter which direction your brush strokes are going in. And they're all over it, sure. Right. Little itty bitty one again. Stay down. Sorry about my arm being in the way. There we go. I mean, that to me is just so pretty as it is. But you do have to know where to stop. And you've got to be brave to carry on. Right, I'll use up, I mean, you can see how much I've got left in there. I've got at least enough to do that again left in there. And this is a 30cm ruler. Sorry, it's not in inches, but it's about 20, just short of 27 centimetres. I'm sure Mick will type it on what inches this is, and it's just short of 18 centimetres. And there's definitely enough in them to do it again. So I'll pause it, dry this up, get rid of that, you know, on another piece of paper, and oh, I don't think I showed you the finish of that one that I was making on the other one. And that one, so I might do another bit, you know, with them on these. I like the circles. All I did was I painted this green in a circle and then just basically went like that. But I only put the green where I was going to, and then just shaded it out what was left on the brush, just to yeah, I think I might use the left-ups on these. Leftovers. Right. Come on. It's sticking off. Yep. Right. Just before I put another layer on, with that scrap bit, I did them two. And because if I show you these at the end, you're better off seeing them in stages. I'm not going to do them on the video, just show you. That was the one with the green circles. I did 2 pink semicircles, yellow, and a yellow one here. And that one. And that's the same size as the one that we're doing. So there were plenty enough to do it again. Now, that gives you some kind of idea about, you know, how far it goes. Because it gets thick in places where the colour's darker here, it gets thick in places as you're scraping it. It sometimes pushes it to the edges, and you get a thin bit in the centre. When you dry it, that's that side. When you dry it, make sure you dry it, especially if you're doing it just one sheet or, you know, just 2 sheets, not going through a stack of 10 or anything. Make sure it's thoroughly dried, because, I mean, you can sort of feel it's textured. So it's obviously thick. And if you just hit it with a heat gun, all you're doing is putting a crust on it. So when you come to, you'll just be scratching off that bottom layer. That's why you do tend to get quite a bit of mud coming off. Because, you know, paste like this, when it's dry, isn't 100% waterproof. The acrylic paint helps, but you can re-wet wallpaper. That's why you steam it off the walls. So get it as dry as you possibly can. Right, I think I'm going to use that one this time. Oh yeah, sorry, you can use things like this as well, the rubberised. I mean, you can use end of your paintbrush. You know, if you do a circle and another circle, you've got a really thin gap in between, but you want to put a line in there, you can just scratch it out with something like this. I suppose you can use a hair comb and snap every other tooth out. It'd be a bit hard to clean, but, you know. Right, I just give it a really light spritz on the second coat. As I say, this is liner paper. I can feel the tackiness there, just off that little wet. It's liner paper. It absorbs a lot, so... Right, if I put this blue over the yellow, I'm obviously going to get green tinges in places, I think. And when it goes over, it's going to be like a purple. And then it's going to make a purple with that red anyway. So keep things like that in mind when you're doing it. I don't even know what pattern I want to do. You're really better off making your mind up what pattern you want to do before you start pouring your paint down. I want to go this way, I think. So I need to do it in strips like there. there's a bit, no, it might be that there's no paint. That's a bit better. This one's the blue, this one's the blue. You don't have to go over all of it as well, you know, if you like. Say that bit as it is, just miss it out and feather it in. Oh, big blob. Mash it down. Can't remember which side I used, doesn't matter. That's really bright. Like you say, if you get dark edges and then light, I'm not sure if that's how steep you hold your card to the paper when you're scratching. I think it's when you hold it quite low down that it sort of squidges it out. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll try and find out. Yeah, I'll have a play. Right, I'll get this dry, use last to paint up. Right, them two colours next, the iridescent ones. Violet blue and blue green. I didn't do anything to that one. That one, I did that. This one, I just did this. And this one, I sort of ran out about here, so I really watered it down. But you can see how the blue on top has made it greeny. So just, you know, keep stuff like that in mind. One thing I don't like about this is the very blockiness of it. Boom, boom. But depending on what depends what you're using it for. It might not show too much. But, I mean, it changes all the time anyway. And this does not look anything like, you know, the first. Right, so I think that might be a little bit thick. See what this does to it. And you can always have a piece of paper at the side and build up your colours just to see, you know, what that colour looks like on top of the other colours. So which way am I going to go? This way? Yeah, this way. Or might go like that. Yeah. See what that looks like. Sugar off. And that just looks yuck. Don't ever go off what it looks like when you put something down immediately. I mean, it could stay looking yucky. But you never know, when it dries it could surprise you. This really does look like yuck. This paint doesn't have much colour in it. It's more the iridescent. This video is going to be long. Do with a bit of that there too. And I think it is when you do it slow and hold your card down that it builds up at the sides, which I really like. Not got much. There. It is a bit difficult. To keep hold of and keep your hand freed up, because it might just be because of the amount of pain I'm in. I tend to grip really hard, and the first time I tried this I was pressing, I've got it, oh yeah, I was pressing way too hard, nearly going through the paper. So you need to free yourself up, and not push too hard, as in push down too hard, which I do find very difficult at times. So right, I'll get this dry, use up the paint, and I think I'm going to have to take some meds and a break for a bit. Not that you really need to know that, because you won't know any difference, will you? Yeah, crazy. Alright. This isn't 100% dry yet, but I've just noticed by looking up in camera while I was drying it, this angle, this blue wave really stands out. Now watch, because this might get covered up with other layer and I might forget when I come back. Standing out even, well, slightly even more, if you know what I mean. Now it's starting to these lines here, come on, get back in the direction. I can't get it again now. No, I can't get it, but it changes as it dries. But you can see these lines more than you can there. There, all you can see are the blue ones going that way. Tilt it, and come on. Now you can see them. And you've got to handle it yourself. There. It's just, it changes so much. It's like, there, I mean, look at that. That great big swirly whirly pattern comes out. But there it's gone. It's magic. There it looks different again. It really is brilliant. I love it. Keep it that way. That's not right pretty. But interesting, if you need. Oh yeah, that's another thing I want to say. If you don't like it as a whole, if, you know, or if you've got patches that you've really made mud, ATCs, you know, just the nice bits, just chop it up for your ATCs. I can't get over how the pattern changes to how you're holding it and looking at it, and the light catches it. It's amazing, it really is. I might as well show you what I just did with these as well, although they're not perfectly dry. I put a thin coat of them on that and did them that way. Are they all that way? Yeah, all that way. That's them ones. checkers, and the sideways ones I was checking with this, and I think it is if you hold your comb at a very low angle and do it slowly, it pushes the thick to the outside. If you do it standing up and quickly, I think it just scratches it off, if you will, rather than pushing it to the sides and making these built up bits. But I thought, you know, you'd be able to see there. That's one that I did slowly. You can definitely see that it's pushing it to the side rather than just clearing it out the way completely. And this one I just clean my brush off on, basically, because it's already got the green gold, I think it is, on these green circles. I basically just cleaned my brush off where these green circles weren't, just to give it a slight metallic sheen in places. Right, I think I'm going to be probably doing one more layer on this. Depends how it looks after that, I suppose, but as I say, I need to go and have a rest. Right, I'm going to do it that way. I want to put some of the butterflies on, and I think this is going to be the last layer, so oh, no, 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 no. Stay. That. And that. And I won't put that one on again. So it stays the same as such. I really do like this stamp set. I actually found the outer package for it because I lost it for a bit. Try and remember to get it and show you which stamp set it is, because there's some lovely stuff in it. the actual stamp set if you're interested. There is some really pretty things in there. That one especially. And it was very reasonably priced as well, unless I got it, because I got it off eBay, so I'm sure I got it off eBay. It might have been on auction, I'm not right sure. So put it back that way, that's the original. So the paper's back as it was. Right, this way, didn't I? Yellow, blue, well, turquoise. So how did I do that one? Come on, think. Yeah. Right. So you move one side until the other side starts going up, and then move that side back down, and this side cocks back up into this one, and then you move that side down and keep that corner straight, and then you move that one back down, and then that one back down, and then that one back down. And then the bits that you missed. Fill in with that. Stick it. again, the same but a bit more graceful this time. Just get that mixing a little bit more, cross over a bit there. Okay, try it with the finer one, the narrower one. One side down, yeah, either my hair or a cat it. One side down, the other side, the other side. See, I'm pressing too hard. Too hard, slap it on. Don't know where to hold it. Side down, side down. That's better. Oh, I didn't use the gold, did I? Oh well, there is metallics on there. Right, I'll come back and show it you when it's dried. and I'll use up the rest of the paint on the others. Right, one more thing I remembered that I did on the first one that I'd done when I were experimenting in my book. I'm going to use, that really don't look like that colour. It's more like hot pink. It doesn't look like that on camera. Wow. Right. I need a fresh piece of paper for wiping off. What I did was I painted a border, scratched into it, and then wiped this bit away and mitered the corners. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again. I might just end up messing it up. I've trimmed it off so it's straight edged now rather than hacked. Should I have a brush for cleaning out? Yeah, a round one. Right, that'll be for taking off. Juggling. Okay. This is the original butterfly. Not that it really matters at this point, but just in case. So, I wonder if mitering the corners to start off with. Don't know, might work, might not. And then I thought if this works, I'd darken the very outer edge with blue to make it purple like we're going to do anywhere. Okay, so I want to go that way. If you find you need to move your paper, because like me, you clutter everywhere, keep your card on and slowly slide. Sort of freeze your hand, if you will. Bring your hand with the paper. But when you do this, make sure that it is totally dry, because as you'll see here, it does scratch off the other layers, even though this is bone dry and has been for quite some time. Right, so what I then did was blend out with a slightly damp brush, not too wet. And it's probably a good idea to remember which, if you've got a card with different sized holes, which bit you actually use. That might have been clever. I wish I knew how to work my camera, then I could actually go back and look at things. Because, yeah, I don't even know how to... I know you can view it on the little side screen. I have no idea how to do that. So basically, if have more than, say, one pink paint out and I need to know which one it was that I used and I've forgotten, I have to wait until Mick's back here for him to get it up to show me. Right, and I'm going to very carefully mitre that corner out. Like that. And then what I think I'll do is put blue wash up to about there, and then get it progressively darker going out, and it just sort of frames whatever it is you're doing, if it's a page or... Now I'd let that dry before doing these bits. You'll either get your hand in it or something will happen. I just want to write down a little bit more. Fader. Yeah, that'll do. Right, I'll dry that and then do another bit, but I'll put the rest in fast forward just so you can see me doing it. But I mean, I've already done that, and this video is going to be a big one. Apologies, but what can I do? Thank you. Bye. Here again, so it's not bye. Right, I found out instead of fading it out when I was putting this pink bit on, if you put it on stronger at the outer edge and weaker towards the centre, then do the ka-doing bit with the card, you don't have to spend as long feathering it out like that. It works a lot quicker. Then what I did was I used Mod Podge over it to seal it, because don't forget, if you're using wallpaper paste, it is slightly re-wettable, and this bit I wanted it more of a wash. I used the same pink just to deepen it up round the edge. As I say, in a wash I went round a few times until I was happy with it, and then I went on to the blue that I'd already used in there, just to get right on the edges. And if you scrape your brush off on every down point when you're doing the arches, it keeps you not in time, but how would you, in rhythm with them. So I was putting a blob of paint on the down points and then joining the tops, and then I went round with ink pad and the Sharpie again. Oh sorry, I put some of this blue violet iridescent stuff on because it looks really pretty over the dark blue. These colours tend to glow more over a darker colour. Right, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful, and thanks for watching, and thanks for asking for it. It's appreciated. Take care. Bye.